free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum Show. I have a big announcement to make. I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very proud of us as a channel, as a community, because we were able to get this young man who had lost his life to gang violence in the inner city. We were able to get Breon, I don't know how you say his name. We were able to get him from $14,000, which was embarrassing for a young kid to lose his life in comparison to all these other thugs out here doing stuff they ain't supposed to do, and they raising $500,000. But this young kid and his family, we got them from $14,000 to $70,000. Just this morning when I woke up, we were at $64,000. Now we're at $70,000. So I am believing, and I am excited about the potential for us to continue to grow this young man's GoFundMe to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I have a couple big friends that I know that are very successful and wealthy, and I may tap them to contribute as well, because we need to show that we care about these young people and their families. And we also need to combat the foolery of when a young black kid or any kid dies, they only come out when it's politically expedient. They only come out and support the family when it's a white versus a black, and not when it's a young man that lost his life and he seems like a good kid. I mean, he can't be that bad. He's 7. So every kid is good before they start becoming criminals like some of these other people. But I think this kid probably could have been off to the right, starting with a bright future. Now, I want to go down also and show this, because the reason why I told you guys to comment this is because I want to send a message to everybody that donates or everybody that failed to donate, is that we as a community can make a tremendous difference. Because every single donation that you see says something about, I was here from Officer Tatum Show, Officer Tatum. This speaks to our community coming and helping and supporting And you can go through and look at all these comments. And I want to say thank you to every single person. There's 119 people that commented. There's 2,100 people that donated. And I want to say thank you to everybody who sacrificed something. You know, we got a lot of small donations, which is still a sacrifice. And we still remain as the top donor. Officer Tatum remains as the top donor. And I hope somebody out-donate me, because all this money is going to them, not me. I ain't making no money out of this. It's going to, I believe, is a good cause. So I just wanted to give y'all a shout out. God bless you. God bless everybody. Let's continue to give as God has purposed in your heart. If you give grudgingly or of necessity because you want your name to be on that, don't do that. Don't do it. If God put it on your heart and you are compelled because you heard his story and you say, I want to give because God has put on my heart to do something, then I want you to give because God will reward you. I don't know how. I don't know if it's with long life. I don't know if with peace. I don't know if it's mending relationships, but I believe God will bless you when you give to other people. All righty. Let's go to the first story of the day. And I wanted to do this story yesterday, but I didn't do the story yesterday for whatever reason. I think we forgot. I think we jumped on the story at the beginning and we forgot to do this story. The most asinine reaction that I've ever seen from a grown man with the potential of somebody using the N-word. Mark Lamont Hill is the most ignorant, ridiculous, educated person I've ever heard of in my life. I used to respect Mark Lamont Hill. Fix my screen. I used to respect Mark Lamont Hill. I went to the Black Police Officer Summit, a National Police Officers Association Summit or something like that. I went to it when I was a cop. I think I was like 2 or 3 years on the police department, and Mark Lamont Hill was the keynote speaker in Philadelphia. If anybody was at that place or Mark Lamont Hill see this, you will know that I ain't making this up. He spoke. He was charismatic. I thought he was smart. He was educated. Brother was in his 30s. I say, man, I want to be like Mark Lamont Hill one day. And now look at us. This guy is an absolute pansy. I remember when he was on Candace Owens' show and Candace asked him, can a man give birth to a baby? And that fool said, yeah. Can a man have a menstrual cycle? And that dude said, yes. Black people ain't never been for that foolery that he for. Now watch him melt down on Piers Morgan's show because the young lady next to him might say the N-word. And mind you, Mark Lamont Hill has been on podcasts where the N-word has been used. Mark Lamont Hill uses the N-word when he talks to other people. Mark Lamont Hill probably listens to music where they use the N-word every single day of his life. All the time, every angle, every situation they're using the N-word. But the mere idea that a white woman is going to use it makes him frazzled. Roll the clip.
You've been so unashamedly proud of being a racist today, proud of using the N-word whenever you feel like it. You've had a bit of time to think about this. Is that how you want people to leave this panel debate, with thinking of you as a disgusting racist?
I don't really care what people think about me. As long as you care about what people think about you, you have no power and you lose your country. What I care about is freedom of speech. And if you're not allowed to say the most offensive things in this country, you do not have freedom of speech. I don't care what anybody says. So that's the main crux of this situation. That's what I care about with this situation. It is, we have lived for far too long in a country where you can have your life destroyed. And people say, oh, she doesn't need this money. Her life's destroyed, by the way. She'll never be able to get another job. She's got children to have to support. And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly. And you will
well, go
not
on, then
have
say it.
Hold on.
Say
you
the
will
N.
not.
He's trying to compel her to say the N-word. Here's what a flip out finna happen. But let me give some context here. That young lady, I don't follow her anymore because I think she go too far sometimes. I almost think to a certain degree she's borderline being racist when she says certain stuff. I'm just keeping it real. I talked to her. I tried to give her some advice about the language and stuff she used on her podcast. And she listened to me for a short period of time, and then she continued to cuss and do all this stuff. And I know that by doing that, your platform is not going to grow as much as it could because you lose people on your messaging when you curse and you're derogatory and you're a female. It's just not going to happen. If you look at the biggest females in the game, Candace Owens don't cuss on her platform. Tommy Lahren don't cuss on her platform. You know, anybody you name that's a prominent female figure don't cuss on their platform. And that's because you're not palatable when you cuss like that. People can't share your content and all that other stuff. And you get demonetized and all you know it. But I had to say I'm not saying I support this girl because I don't know what she's saying now because I hadn't followed her in a while. But what I will say is that I think that it is important for us to have freedom of speech. I think it is important for people to be able to say what they want to say. You can use racial terms against Jews, blacks, and if you say whatever you want to say, that don't mean there's not consequences for what you say, meaning that if you are working for me and you saying racist stuff against people, I don't want you in my job. It's a private business. I'm going to fire you. I don't want people like that here. If you are a racist and you saying racist stuff and you're derogatory against women and whatever you're doing and you work for me, you fired. You done. Now, you can do whatever you want to do in the real world. But working for me, there's consequences. And so will there be consequences in other areas. However, that doesn't mean that you can't say it. That doesn't mean if you can't say the N-word. That doesn't mean you can't say all these other terms. You have the freedom in America to say and think what you want. You do not have to like people. You do not have to respect people. But just know two things. Just because you can do it don't mean you should. And just because you do it don't mean there's not consequences. If I walk up to a woman and I call her a B, I should be able to say that. But if her husband hit me with a 2-piece and a hot pepper, I can't be shocked. A man can go up to a black person. I don't recommend you do this. And you can get in his face and say, you in. Now, getting in his face could be considered assault in many states. But just say that you weren't assaulting him, you get in his face, say the N. Now, he hit you in the eye and knock you unconscious and stomp you out. That's on you. But that doesn't mean you can't say words. Now, he'll get in trouble, but that you still got knocked out. But let me finish this before I go off on a rant. Roll the clip.
Go on, say the N word. Go on.
No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. You and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Pierce. I understand what you're trying to do. But we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much.
Here you go. Keep him on the screen. You know how stupid that is? Mark Lamont Hill, a grown man, hopefully with responsibilities, is literally flashing out on Piers Morgan because the possibility of a white woman using a word that he probably uses every day and that he listens to every day. But the mere idea of a white woman uttering a word is going to make him so offended that he don't even want her to speak on the show. And then this fool not only cried about her using a word, he called another black man. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth. He called another black man a racial derogatory term. He literally called the only other black person on the panel Uncle Tom. Bro, make this make sense. You so offended and hurt if the white girl says the N-word, but you're not hurt that you targeted your own brother, another black man, with a derogatory, hateful, divisive term. And that makes sense to him and other people who act like him. Because I saw the blogs. I looked on the little blogs, little black blogs, and they like, yeah, he cooking. Yeah, he showed him. Yeah, he put him in his place. It's like, wait a minute, y'all serious? Now, I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up, I promise. Show me white people acting like this. Show me a white person on a panel. I swear I'll give you $1,000. Show me a white person on a panel and the potential that a black man may say the C word. Y'all know what C word, the saltines. Y'all know what that. Y'all know. I don't want to say it. It's not as offensive as the N-word, but I don't want to say it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You eat them, you know, whatever. If show me a white person on there that's an activist that use the word every day, that listens to other white people use the word, but get mad at a black man for trying to use the word, but then insults another white man with a slur. Show me white people doing this, and I'll shut up, and I won't make a video for a week, and I'll give a lucky winner $1,000. You ain't never gonna do it. I will say $1 million because I know it ain't never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. This is delusion and people who are out of touch with reality. And Mark Lamont Hill, if you listening, you should be ashamed of yourself, bro. I don't know what LGBTQ spirit you done got on you, but you done lost your mind. You're soft, ignorant, and you're calling other black men names while complaining about the white girl. And Myron, although Myron and I don't agree with everything, I think that Myron, him putting the N-word, I guess that flag said the N-word on it. Let me tell you this. This would have been an interesting scenario. She was gonna say the N-word, right? I'm assuming with a hard R. Maybe she'll say the A. She said the A, I think, on some of her stuff because she was trying to be cool. But just say that she was gonna say it. What would have been funny is that if she didn't say it, but the other black guy said it, I would have loved to have seen what Mark Lamont Hill, how he would have reacted to it. And let the black man use the hard R, and then let her not say it at all. See how Mark Lamont Hill would answer. Would Mark Lamont Hill have a problem if a black man used the hard R? He looked at him and said, I'm calling you a N. Versus the white girl just saying a word. She's not calling Mark Lamont the N. She's just uttering a word. I would have loved to have seen that play out. I would have loved to have seen that play out. But let's move on to the next topic. CNN says that Trump would ban black people from the military. Let's go to that clip. And Trent, line me up because I'm off center. I think I moved a little bit. Let's go to that clip. Being black is not a military disqualification. Let me just say this. Let me preface it. See, I'm off a little bit. There you go. Let me preface this real quick because they're going to make an argument. I'm going to debunk that. But I want to just go through some of the reasons. Maybe I should let the clip play first, and then I'm going to go through some of these reasons, okay? Because I think it's invaluable for us to diagnose the reality of this argument, not just the talking points and conjecture. Roll the clip.
Sorry, I can. What if the president wakes up tomorrow and says, I don't want any black people in the military? Do we give deference to him on that? Well, no, wait a second. It's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous because you're discriminating against a group of people in a very similar way. No,
I knew you were going to say that, but
excuse me. Well, I'm glad you.
I'm going to leave this one alone today.
I'm curious. Why is it ridiculous? I mean, you just said the president should be the one who just decides.
Right.
So if he decides, he wakes up tomorrow and says, I think it's bad for morale, it's bad for cohesiveness, for there to be black people in the military, Latino people in the military. Just in her hypothetical scenario, what's the difference between that and what we're seeing here?
I mean, are you really going to go down this ridiculous
I'm
sorry.
This is ridiculous.
Now, there's more to it, but I want to get to the topic. So that for some reason, because they banned people who are mentally ill from being in the military, they want to somehow throw black people in this. Black people ain't got nothing to do with mental illness. Being black is not a mental illness. The saying that transgender people can't be in the military isn't saying because they're trans. It's not because you trans. It's because what is causing you to be trans is where the issue comes in at. So because you have gender dysphoria, you have a psychological issue going on, you cannot be in the military. It's not because you want to wear different clothes. It's because you are mentally ill. That have been a long-lasting criteria of whether a person is qualified or not in the military is military mental readiness. Let's go through a chart of what things will disqualify you and qualify you to be in the military, and you tell me how black people are associated with this. And also, if Donald Trump wanted to get rid of black people in the military, do you know that's probably like, I don't know, 40% of the military or maybe more. Maybe we'll look at the number of how many black people in the military. That don't even make sense. Y'all talking about 5 transgenders versus 40% of the military force. You can't be that stupid. Let's talk about qualifications. Why military block medical or psychological disqualifications? Why do they block these people from being in the military? Here's the reasoning behind the military's decisions. Protecting the individual is one. Maintaining unit readiness and safety is another one. Ensuring mission success under the harshest conditions. That means that you got to be ready to go at all times. Nobody care who you want to lay on top of at night and who genitalia you want to play with. They want to know, are you ready to fight for this country and serve the military, to accomplish the military's agenda, to keep everybody in America and abroad safe? You idiots. All right, let's continue. Medical disqualifications that a person can have, obviously, is combat readiness. Chronic illnesses or conditions could lead to emergencies in battle. So if you, and this is why women struggle in the military too, and why people didn't think that women should be in the military. Because if you're in the military and you're on the battlefield and that thing come during the month, you got to go and plug it and do all this other stuff with it, put a pad on, drop it out, drip it out, do whatever you got to do with that. You shouldn't be subjugated to having to be on the battlefield and in combat situations and you bleeding down the side of your leg. I think that those things are put women in a difficult position that don't have to happen. Now, I don't think that women shouldn't be in the military, but I'm talking about in combat zones and combat readiness, that could be a disqualification. Deployment limits. Many places lack mental care. Ongoing treatment isn't possible. So you are out here with your transgender stuff going on. You don't have access to your puberty blockers. No, I'm just playing. You don't take puberty blockers as an adult. But you don't have access to your hormones and your whatever they do. You don't have access to that while you're deployed. May not have access depending on where you're deployed. So how enough are you going to be doing your trans stuff and you deploy somewhere? The military shouldn't have to be trying to find ways to get you hormones and secure your mental health while you're deployed on the battlefield. Even if you're not in the combat zone, you're still deployed, and they have to make sure that you're not a risk factor to everybody else. A risk to the team. One medical emergency can endanger the entire unit. These are reasons. Training demands. Extreme physical training could worsen conditions. These people are hyped up on hormones and estrogen and testosterone and HGN, and I don't know, I just made that HGN up. Is it an HGN or something? They hyped up on all kind of stuff. You could be having mood swings. And Why? Why should people be worried about you doing that? Just be at home. Yeah, they got some delusion why they want to do it. Psychological behavior disqualifications, extreme stress. Military life is high stressful. Decision-making, mental health issues can impair fast, critical decisions. Weapon safety. Psychiatric history raising concerns for weapon access. That means when you go crazy, you want to kill yourself, because we know that a lot of people who struggle with gender dysphoria end up committing unaliving themselves, committing the unaliving of themselves. And so you have access to all this equipment, all this military gear and guns and ammo and all this other stuff. You are a risk factor. And then on top of the risk factor already from being in the military. So you are at double the risk factor. You got gender dysphoria and you dealing with trauma from the military. Come on, somebody. Let's see. I think I've gone on over a lot of these different things. And many of you could look this up to figure out what issues can cause you to be disqualified from the military. But psychological behavior disqualifications, ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, PTSD, history of major depression or anxiety requiring medication, schizophrenia or psychotic disorders. Legal things that would get you disqualified: felony convictions, multiple misdemeanor convictions, current parole or probation, domestic violence, restraining orders, or pending criminal charges. Let's see. Family disqualifications. Excessive dependence. That's crazy. Maybe that do have something to do with if you're black. No, I'm just kidding. Excessive dependence. Usually more than 2 under the age of 18 within an adequate family care plan. So let me just tell you this why it's true. People probably think this is exaggerated. When I was going to join the military right out of college, because I was looking for an opportunity and I was like, football ain't working. The military is a sure thing, right? You're gonna always need the military. I'm in good physical condition. I work with a team. I got all the intangibles to be in the military, and you're gonna get paid pretty good. And if you work hard, you work your way up. You can be paid great money in the military. Have a good MOS, you name it. So, but I had a kid. Now, think about it. I had a degree, so I'll be going in as a second lieutenant, as an officer. So I had a kid out of wedlock. And so the Air Force told me at the recruiting station that you need to be married before you can go in as an officer into the Air Force. And I said, brother, I'm not finna marry this girl just to do the Air Force. I'm going to go to the Army. Okay. Y'all too bougie for me. I'm finna go down to the Army. And, of course, I wouldn't have had a problem with the Army, but I didn't feel like deploying for 18 months at a time. I said, I got a young family, bro. I can't do 18 months. My baby is young. He may not even been born yet. I said, I can't deploy for a year, 18 months at a time. I can't do it. 6 months in the Air Force, I could do 6 months. We can work through it. But a year and a half, I can't imagine that girl going to be sleeping with everybody, and I'm going to be hurt down there, deployed somewhere in the country I don't want to be in, and my wife with somebody else. All right. Single parent without family care plan, which is probably was considered where I was, even though we were in a relationship, we weren't married. Substance use, current or recent drug use, alcohol dependency history, positive drug test during the process. Education, no high school diploma or GED, you can't go. Low ASVAB score, varies by branch and job. I don't know what that means. ASVAB, I think that's like the qualification readiness test. I think you got to take the ASVAB to see what your MOS is. I think that's kind of what it is too. So if you score high on it or whatever, you get to pick a better MOS. I'm not sure. Military people can probably jump in on that. Citizenship and residency. Y'all all know if you're a non-citizen without legal permanent residency, a green card, you can't do it. Expired visas or undocumented status, you can't do it. Also, this affected me when I was joining the military, was tattoo violations. You can't have tattoos on your face, neck, hands, gang affiliation, racist, or extremist symbols. I had too many tattoos. I went to the Marine Corps recruiting office when I was a police officer right before I got on the SWAT team because I wanted to join the Marine Corps as a reserve. I wanted to join the Marine Corps Reserve, therefore I could still be a cop, and I just, they deploy. My homeboy was saying he was people probably get crazy with him. No, he was Air Force Reserve. He was Air Force National Guard Reserve. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm not laughing, bro. Y'all still, if you're a National Guard, you still a part of the men and women that serve, okay? I just know you get a lot of crap. But I wasn't doing that. I was going to be a Marine Reserve, going in as an officer. Because then you can do 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. You get all the benefits, you get a little bit of extra pay, and then you can choose when you want to deploy. And I don't know about that, but he could choose when he was in the Air Force if he wanted to deploy. They'll have these deployment schedules, and he'll say, yeah, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. And he get paid like a lot of money when he deploys. So he was deploying to these non-combat zones and making a lot of money, and he was going to do 20 years in the military, 20 years on the police department, retire with 2 pensions. And so that sounded like a good idea to me. I said, I had my mind made up that I want to be this big bad warrior type guy, right? I mean, I'm working out, I'm a football player, I'm a SWAT team, I'm in the Marine Corps, I'm just doing I just had these visions of being like this super warrior guy. And they went and they said, hey, you got way too many tattoos to be a officer in the Marine Corps. Because I had so many tattoos you have to have that's visible in your PT gear. You can't have more than X visible in your PT gear. And so he went to do a waiver. He said, I think I can do a waiver. I think they'll let you in. I think we can pass on this. Maybe we can say this tattoo is actually one tattoo and we can get you in. I never heard from him again. Now, I think that was a blessing because I don't know what I was thinking. My friends that were in the Marine Corps said it is the worst decision they ever made in their life to be a Marine. Now, not because it's not honorable, it's because they treat you poorer than all the other branches, right? They said their barracks, like where they deployed, their equipment is all terrible. They said that now they could be just this one example. So if you're in the military as a Marine, don't get mad at me. They said the Air Force is like Scottsdale of the military, meaning that it's bougie. They get nice equipment, their facilities are nice, their bases on nice places, you know. So anyway. You can't be affiliated with any extremists, hate groups. Let's see. Y'all already know that. I think I told you enough. So if you think about joining the military, go to military.gov. No, I'm just playing. I don't know what military you're going to do. But if you are deciding to join the military, I think it's a really good resource for you. Let me just say this. I honestly think that if you join the military, it needs to be a calling on your life to do it. Don't let it be a career. However, if you're sitting at home on your mama couch and you're a grown man, get your off the couch. I don't want to hear you say you can't get a job. Go join the military. Some of y'all may not like me saying that. Ain't no grown man that with all of his faculties is running around saying he's unemployed, he can't find a job. If you ain't 30-some years old, past the limit of joining the military, get your off the couch. Go down to one of these recruiting offices and join a branch of the military. Join the National Guard. Do something. I don't have no respect for a man that's unemployed, military age. What you don't want to serve the country with your life, but you want to reap the benefits. Get off the couch and go join the military if you can't find nowhere to work. I'll never accept that. I ain't got no job, man. It's hard out here getting a job. Wait a minute, what? What? How old are you? Go down there to recruiting office. They always looking for employment opportunities for you. Go join the military, go through boot camp, become a man, and serve in the military with 6 to 8 years. And then by then, maybe you have some skills. Maybe you grew a pair. Maybe after you serve the country, you feel like you respect the country more. Get out and be a cop. Get out and be in the military. You got GI Bill. You can go get your education for free. Come on, somebody. Mama, I'm telling them, mama. I'm telling them. Copy this, mama, and send this to your son that you've been telling this to. I'm talking to you. Your mama told me in the spirit that you need to get out the couch and go join the military. All right, let's move on. You heard me. You heard me right. Let's go with Scott Jennings. Speaking of the military, I want y'all to listen to how silly this argument is about the military parade. Now, I don't know if we have done a military parade like this before. However, Donald Trump, in my personal opinion, other countries do it. You know, China does it. All these other countries do it. But in my personal opinion, I don't know if we've ever done a military parade like this. But I do believe that there's a reason to do it, and it makes sense. And somebody's like, well, it's $90 million. We could have spent this a waste of money. Hey, dummy, do you know how much money the military spends on recruiting every year? No. Shh. Do you know how much money? Come on, look it up for me, Nick. Use ChatGPT. How much money do our military spend on recruiting every year? A military parade is not only to bolster the fervor of people who love our country and support our military personnel. Look at that. But it's also a big recruiting tool. Because when a young man see the proliferation of the most advanced military in the world and how bad it is to be in the military, they look at that military parade and be like, I want to join. We spend $2 billion. We spend $2 billion a year on recruiting in the military. And I got to find a name for dumb black people, because I don't think all black people are dumb. I'm not dumb. All my friends are smart. A lot of people I meet are smart, very intelligent. A lot of intelligent, smart black people that ain't like this. The ignosis He's hypnotized with hypnosis. These black people are stupid. This man is making an argument, and I'm going to play the clip. He's making an argument about wasteful spending, but we spend he probably have no idea we spend $2 billion a year on recruiting in the military. And this is probably a most effective way to recruit by having a military parade and honoring the men and women who put their life on the line. Can we give them y'all don't mind a gay parade with dudes that want to hump on the back of other dudes, having a parade with their penises out, shaking it in front of your kids? They don't mind that parade. If the government had a gay parade, a trans drag queen parade, the ignorance like him wouldn't have a problem with it. They'd be, oh yeah, $90 million for inclusivity, and we should be honoring the people that want to transition. We should be honoring the man that want to be with another man. We should be the woman that want to lay up with another woman. We should be honoring that. And I'm not saying we should be evil to anybody. Do your own life. He wouldn't have a problem, but he have a problem with the military. That's all you need to know. Roll the clip.
The things that animate him about what he really gets excited about. It is about branding. It is about imagery. It is about kind of this nationalism. The fact that they're going to consider, or probably, I guess now, really have this military parade. We don't need a military parade. We don't need to spend millions or maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to do that. But we want to do it because he has to feed his inner image monster.
He said it himself. He wants,
Are you guys
thinks
against
of
the
himself as a
military
movie
parade?
maker.
Love the military.
$100 million on
I don't think it's called
You cannot be
$100
cutting tens of thousands of federal workers at the same time you say we're going to waste money on a military parade.
Why is it wasteful?
It is wasteful.
Why?
It is what do we need to show
what's
off
the
our
purpose?
military for? But that's strong men do that. Strong men do that. It has
in
nothing to
them.
do with pride in the military. Strong men do that because they want to make their citizens cower. They want to say, we are strong. I am here. I have all these weapons. Aren't you proud of me? We don't need to do that. We know that our military is, multiples the size of anybody else's military on the planet. We don't need them to bring the missiles down Pennsylvania Avenue in order for us to know that.
It's not about the size. In the last 4 years,
It's
morale in the military was down, recruitment was down. There is a concerted effort going on right now at the Pentagon, and it's already successful to enhance recruitment and to enhance pride and the idea of joining the military. I think you all are discounting the idea that a national parade for our military to show off our military, to show pride in the veterans that have defended this country, and you all are mad about
The
it?
veterans, he was just trying to rename Veterans Day.
I'm super proud of our military, but I don't think we should waste money. I think that the worst thing for morale that I've seen is Pete Hegseth as the defense
That's the worst thing you've seen?
for morale.
The literal worst thing you've
I
seen?
think pretty much. I mean, it's embarrassing. If you want to embarrass people,
Talk to a rank and file military
what's
person. They'll tell you the wet
look,
blanket is off.
Can y'all believe there's human beings that are this silly in our country? I'm being serious. I'm not even like trying to be funny and then, like, I'm actually shocked the ignorance of grown men on television that have access to the internet and all kind of other stuff, and you that silly. We don't need to. Donald Trump just want to show off his might and strength. Are you that simple-minded? Donald Trump is the man already, fool. He got elected twice. He would have got elected 3 times and cheated. So what are we talking about? He want to show off his might, and he just want to bully the citizens. Hey, dummy, last time I checked, the citizens are also in the military. He want to threaten the citizens. Well, the people who are the citizens are the one in the military. The future voluntary military that we have is going to be citizens. The parade, okay, so it's not going to be broadcasting on TV. It's not going to be on TV. Just a random parade just going to go on downtown. Nobody going to know about it. No, dummy. It's going to be a whole recruiting effort. I tell you what, man. People are stupid. They hate this country. They hate service. None of these people will pick up a single weapon and defend this country at all costs. They wouldn't do none of it. So why am I even entertaining these idiots? None of them will pick up the uniform. I'll put that uniform on right now and risk my life. I will lose my life for the freedom in this country. Right now. I got kids. I got all these people here. I got a future. I will put my future aside for this country to be free. They will never do it. And that's why they don't care about the military. They ain't thought about it. But we do need to get good qualified people. Now, if you thought that was silly, if you thought they were going Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs, look at the view. The Ver. I cannot wait till we have a show that combats this. We need a show. Conservatives need our own show where we can have a panel like this where we just eating them alive every day. We just eating them alive. We bring on our own guests to show off. And we bring these dummies on and embarrass them. Roll the film.
You know, we've been talking about fear and uncertainty in these sweeping tariffs, but the guy who imposed them thinks that this is the perfect time to throw a multi-million-dollar birthday parade with the U.S. military in our nation's capital. This is not going over well in the court of public opinion or from the mayor of D.C. Take a look.
Oh. Military tanks on our streets would not be good. If military tanks were used, they should be accompanied with many millions of dollars to repair the roads.
All these federal jobs lost, the economy is in the toilet, people's 401ks being slashed. Nothing to celebrate right now, my guy.
$92 million.
Isn't that wasteful spending?
Yes.
Where's Doge at when you need him? Doge can, well, I guess he does have presidential immunity, so the Doge can intervene in a situation like this? That seems like wasteful spending to me.
Yeah.
We are so past wasteful spending, it's not even funny. Now, the question is, will his base be on board with him throwing an extravagant party right now? He did promise to lower the price of groceries. I have not seen an egg for 1 cent since this man got in. Almost, we're too close. Something almost slipped out my face, But, I mean, what the heck?
I don't think people are going to be supportive
Nobody
of this.
wants this.
In large part, it's also his 79th birthday. It coincides with the 250th anniversary of the armed forces. But I will say this, I think it's just a distasteful display for our armed services, because our armed services aren't about pomp and circumstance. They're about discipline, pride, service, things like that. And to see him sort of trot our soldiers out like that, it reminds me of what you see in China. You see it in, North Korea.
Yeah.
You see it in Russia. So I don't like that part of it. But the other thing about Mayor Bowser, I lived in D.C. You lived in D.C. The architect of D.C. was a black man named Benjamin Banneker.
Yes.
And he did it, and he designed the city to protect the Capitol. It's really difficult to get around D.C. because there are all these roundabouts, and there are quadrants by design so that people can't get to the Capitol. Meanwhile, he wants to put tanks into the Capitol. It's going to destroy the city streets.
Well, laying off veterans, that's the problem. Is you're watching people lose their jobs who gave the ultimate sacrifice and served this country, and you're laying them off. And I don't care, honestly, it's not just wasteful spending. I think it's optically such a bad look. People are really hurting right now. And if he even said, or Elon, I'll pay for it, it's a bad look. You don't do it right now.
Just give us a party at Mar-a-Lago.
You know what this is? This is the definition of what the Jews call chutzpah. The guy calls veterans and people who've been in the armed service suckers and losers, and then he expects everybody to march.
Hold on. I need a break. My brain is popping. The little brain cells in there, they like jumping. They jumping from here down here to try to get rid of themselves. They unaliving themselves, jumping off the cliff because they sick of listening to these fools. He called them suckers and losers. Like, Donald Trump, please, God, sue them. We all know Trump would never, I don't know how people even believe this stuff. Donald Trump called them suckers and losers. Donald Trump has never displayed any angst or any vitriolic behavior against law enforcement or military ever in the history of his existence. He would go to a gravesite in front of everybody and say suckers and losers. And what do you mean by suckers and losers? The context don't make no sense. People that were around him said he never said it. Why do they? I know why they do it, but it's wrong for them to continue to say this, and it's not true. It's not effing true. And the crazy thing is that when you hate your country, when you hate the military, you feel this way. I think it's incredible to display the power of our military across the world. People should know and they should see how well managed and how great our military is. So if you think about playing with us, this is a reminder that we're going to be all over your, like white on rice and stank on. And then we can show that we're the baddest and young people can come out and say, I want to be a part of that. But when you're not involved in the growth and development of the country because you hate the country, of course you have takes like this. Finish this clip real quick before I go crazy.
Parade with this guy. I mean, that is chutzpah.
The U.S. Armed Forces are the greatest fighting force in the history of mankind. The entire world knows that, and we don't need to parade them down Constitution Avenue to prove it. We're not North Korea. You do that when you're trying to prove something because you are weaker and you're trying to signal that you're going to do something. It feels un-American. And listen, I love a good military flyover at a baseball game. People like that kind of thing. But to do it around a political leader,
and it's your birthday too.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Just go throw a party.
Just have a party at Mar-a-Lago. It's easy.
I don't know. You're still taking my tax money.
Well, that's whose money. Who do you think is paying
So
for this?
I'm not interested in
throwing
throwing
a
a parade for you. If you're going to take my tax money, send it to the kids in the schools where you cut their afternoon.
All right, I'm done. I can't listen no more. I cannot listen to
Throw
these
my money towards
women no more. I can't listen to them no more. They are the dumbest, craziest, ignorant. It's just hard to listen to them. They make it all about Trump. He's going to do all this to throw him his own birthday party. Like, I don't get how people stomach this. But anyway, before we get to the next show or next topic, I want to tell you guys about our sponsors, Masa Chips, incredible company. I want you to watch this real quick and so you can see why I love Masa Chips and why you should get you some.
He told me I got to stop eating the chips right before I talk about them, but I can't stop eating these chips. They're tremendously good. And the crazy thing is that they're good and they're also healthy at the same time. Masa Chips is an incredible brand, incredible chip. My family, we literally load up on Masa Chips right here at the headquarters. We have them everywhere. One thing that I like about the Masa Chips is the limited ingredients. I don't need all that super spooky stuff in my food, and I don't have to be a food scientist to know that this is a really good product. Let me read the ingredients right here on the back. All it has is organic corn, 100% grass-fed beef. Remember that, grass-fed beef tallow, sea salt, and lime. That's it. Made right here in the United States of America. But let me tell you this, I got a discount for you, all right? 25% off. If you go to masachips.com/Officer Tatum, make sure you put in the code Officer Tatum, you'll get 25% off your next bag. Join me and be healthy and get you some Masa Chips.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get you some of the Masa Chips. They're great. I filmed that yesterday because I wanted you guys to be able to see the bag, man, because the bag is all blurry on this green screen. And Masa have been a tremendous supporter, and not every company that is worth the salt, for lack of better terms, will sponsor conservatives and support conservatives. So I want to just give Masa a shout out. Get you some chips. They're tremendously good. There's thousands of people that follow me have bought the chips. I know I can see when people get the chips. So shout out to y'all and enjoy them. Share with your friends. Be healthy. Let's live a better life. Let's be the best version of ourselves. All right, let's get to the next story real quick. Just an update. No bond for the cop killer, Rodney Hinton Jr., and look at his disgusting display at the courthouse. I think there was a fight that almost broke out, but people are making commentary on social media and saying, look at the vitriol in the eyes of the cops. Look at the slave patrols. It's like, wait a minute. Police officers don't see color, especially not amongst the ranks of themselves. We are all brothers and sisters when we put that badge on. And brothers and sisters love each other no matter what. Sometimes your brother and sister get on your nerves, but at the end of the day, you still brother and sister. There is no police department where a white man and a black man go on a call and the white man says, I don't care if this black man died because he black. I'm going to let him die. There was guys on the police department I couldn't stand, but I had that badge on. He had that badge on, and I'll die for that guy. I may not want to, but I would die for him because we got that badge on. I ain't never experienced racism amongst the ranks, but I have experienced people not liking each other. And 9 times out of 10, it had nothing to do with race. It had something to do with you a slime bag, and nobody wanted to deal with you because you cutting corners and you don't do your police report. You're lazy. You don't take calls for service. You're dodging calls. I mean, nobody want a person like that. You get to the scene. You late. You cause everybody to get to a fight. I remember an officer. I ain't gonna say his name because I don't know if he involved in an investigation right now, and I don't want to be subpoenaed. But I had an officer that used to get us in the fights every single. I was on this call. I'm like, man, I got like 3 case reports to do. I'm gonna knock these out. Go get me something to drink. It's a slow night. I'm chilling tonight because tomorrow I'm going to go ride my bike and I got all this stuff, so I'm taking it easy. I don't know. Nobody calling us. We don't need no trouble. We get to this call. This man, domestic violence. This baby mama got mad at her baby daddy. Came and threw a chair through his window. Knocked the window out, which is domestic violence, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. We talked to daddy. He said he didn't want to talk to us. And then we also talked to the baby daddy. He like, I don't know what you're talking about. But everybody seen her throw the thing through the window. They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to be involved whatsoever. They don't want to prosecute or nothing. They want nothing to do with this. At the end of the day, we tell the lady, ma'am, if you come back over here, you're going to jail. Go on off. They don't want nothing to do with it. They don't even want to talk to us. They don't want to be victims. They said they don't know who did it. And we kind of figured out that she did it because she was there and somebody said they seen her do it. It was something like that. It may not have been like that. Regardless, nobody was going to go to jail. No, I take that back. Let me clarify this. It was the baby daddy's dad house. So she had really no association with the dad, but it was her baby daddy's dad house. And so therefore, when she threw the thing through the window, it was just criminal damage. It wouldn't be domestic violence because she's not in a relationship with that guy's dad and she's not romantically involved. That's what happened. Because nobody's going to go to jail whatsoever. If you throw something through somebody's window and it's a domestic relationship in the state of Arizona, no matter if they want to be a victim or not, you're going to jail. So this was a situation where she weren't connected to the window she threw the chair through. And dad and them didn't want to be involved. We get ready to go. Ma'am, she was being catty. Y'all got me over here. I don't know why y'all talking to me like that. Y'all stupid. I don't care. I'm finna go get me some Rooster Booster from QT, and I'm out of here. Oh, no. Sergeant so-and-so had to get personal. What you say? You want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? And so she did something like, I think she like admitted to throwing the thing through the window. And he found somebody that wanted to prosecute for disorderly conduct or something stupid. He go, she going to jail. Officer Tatum, you take her to jail, I'll write the case report. And I'm like, I can't believe you just turned that situation into a jail, taking this woman to jail. And of course, I have to take her to jail, so she mad at me. Now she crazy. She a nasty, fat, native girl. She was native. Fat, nasty. I had to check her pockets and do all this stuff to put in my car. And she like, oh, you trying to cop a feel? You touching me? You like that, don't you? I'm like, God. I said, ma'am, I would never touch you like that. I almost said, you fat, nasty. Look at me and look at you. I'd never touch you like that. You nasty. I said, ma'am, get out. You leave me alone. I take her to the jail. She tell them I sexually assaulted her. He sexually assaulted me. I'm like, I hope this officer gets fired for putting me through this. And you know when they make a claim you sexually assault, they got to get investigated and all that. Anyway, I just had to tell that story. Get me back to the screen. So good. I said all that to say that cops are not racist with other cops, and this is not a white thing and a black thing. These are cops that are mourning the death of an officer that was retired, that was respectable, at the hands of an idiot that should burn in hell while in the electric chair. Roll the clip.
Can I see? Okay, so let's try to armchair quarterback what we believe is going on here right now. So Hinton was escorted by police from Claremont County into the courtroom right here. There was some sort of commotion right outside with police officers then quickly escorting Hinton back out, likely for his own safety. His attorney remaining in the courtroom there with the judge. So this, of course, the man accused of hitting and killing that retired sheriff's deputy, making his no bond appearance. Okay, now we're listening outside.
And the crazy thing is, they wasn't this hyped up and mad and hurt, and when his son had a gun in a stolen car. The time to be, that's my brother, bro. The time to be fighting in the courtroom should be fighting for that boy to have somewhere to stay, so he's not sleeping in a car, in a stolen car with a gun. That's the time where y'all need to be angry and talk about that my family, bro. Y'all willing to fight. Y'all willing to go the distance for your kinfolk. But when the boy was out there with nowhere to stay, when the boy out there thugging, and where y'all at? Y'all don't want to come to his rescue. He all right. And now he dead, and his daddy pretty much dead. Now y'all want to show up somewhere. That's your family now. That boy should have never had a gun. He was 18. That boy should have never been in a stolen vehicle. He should have been sleeping in a bed. That boy should have never lost his life. He should have been at school getting an education. But y'all sorry suckers don't do nothing till they dead. You don't care till the boy dead. You don't go fund me till he's dead. God, it make me mad. That boy dead. It's not a joke. It's not hyperbole. He's dead. The boy is dead. Somebody's son will never see the light of day again. And that police officer's dead. Wasn't doing nothing. The man retired. He's just directing traffic. That's all he's doing. He get killed. Dead. He had a family. People that cared about him. Memories. People distraught. There's so many dudes I work with on the police department that I was super close to. If they died, I'd have been distraught. I'd need counseling. They were some of my good friends. Some of my best friends. We put our life on the line for each other every single day. That level of that connection to somebody that you put your life on the line for every day. Y'all going through situations where you could die and you with them. You ain't with your mama. You're not with your daddy. You're not with your kids. You're not with your wife. You and him went in that house and almost died. And it was this close to never seeing the light of day again. You and him did it every day. That's closer than a brother. That's closer than a friend. And somebody take his life. You got dog right, them cops mad. That's their brother. And you done killed him because you mad at because your kid is an idiot. It ticks me off to no end, man. It ticks me off to no end. I hope he go to hell for what he did. Now, I ain't God, so I don't get a choice to do that. But I hope he go to hell unless he repent. Now, he repent, he can go to heaven. I hope he burn in hell for what he did to that cop. And what he did to his son. Because why his son out here with a gun like that? You failed your son if your son is like that at 18 years old. You failed him. I don't want to hear nobody say you failed him. You should have been a leader. You should have been supportive. You should have taught him the right from wrong. You should have got your together so the boy had a chance. You failed him. And I hope you burn in hell unless you repent to God. Somebody killed me. Just imagine somebody run me over because they mad at somebody else did. What my kids gonna do? I just want to bring it home. What my kids gonna do without me? Why will my son have to go without seeing his daddy ever again? They love me. I'm impactful in their lives. And dead because somebody a loser. That man that went his whole life serving and protecting, and a loser that had probably done nothing with his life killed that officer. I will pay money to watch him get put to death. in an electric chair, or I'd love to see the electric chair, or lethal injection. I pay money, and all the money and proceeds go to the police officer's family. I would pay money to watch him go. And the reason I say that is because people do not internalize how devastating losing somebody you love is. They are never coming back. You can't pray it back. You can't think it back. You can't manifest it back. You can't pay for it to come back. That person will always be gone unless you meet them in heaven later. And that man showed no remorse in the courtroom. He shows no remorse whatsoever. He could not care less that his son dead and that cop dead. Put him in that chair and cook it. Turn that voltage up. Use some Tesla batteries. Turn that thing up. I want to see him die for what he did. I'm being superfluous. I don't really care to see that man die, but I really think I hope he get what he deserved. Because what he did was wrong. How many stories did I talk about? Was that 3 or 4? About 3 or 4. All right, cool. All right, give me the super chats and I'm getting out of here. Well, thank y'all for the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Let's go up. All right. Gavin said, thank you for the super chats. He says, curious with your ex-law enforcement background on your opinions on the 3 police officers in Memphis that were found not guilty today. The Tyree Nichols case. Oh, man, that's a big development. I don't know how I didn't see anything about that case today. I don't know. I didn't look at the evidence. I'm not sure which officers in that case. Let's look that up real quick. Here, let me do it on my computer. I just know I probably want y'all to pull up on the screen. Because let me just give you my quick synopsis, Gavin. I thought they all should have went to prison. But I'm not sure what the circumstances were. Because it looked like they beat the man up. Man, I think a few of them had a justifiable reason to initially use force against him. But when they took him under the street light and beat him to death, I think that was all wrong. So let me see. All right, let me read this real quick. I'm going with ChatGPT. Let me read it real quick and let me give a synopsis. As of May the 7th, 2025, 3 former Memphis police officers, Tredarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, have been acquitted on all state charges, including second-degree murder and the 2023 death of Tyree Nichols. The jury, reportedly composed entirely of white members, reaches the verdict from approximately 8 hours of deliberation over 2 days following a 9-day trial. Let's see. All right. Bean, Haley, and Smith were acquitted on state charges. They have been convicted of federal charges related to the same incident. Haley was found guilty on violating Nichols' civil rights, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy, while Bean and Smith were convicted on obstruction of justice. Sentencing for these federal convictions is pending. Now, it being an all-white jury is irrelevant to me because it's all black people that are involved in this incident. So are they racist or are they not, right? Are they biased or are they not? I think that maybe the defense could not present a compelling enough evidence or the prosecution couldn't present compelling enough information to get them convicted. But they are charged federally and they've been found guilty federally. So they may have got off on the state charges, but federal charges. But I also don't know what the defense was. I don't know what they deliberated on. I don't know what the jury instructions were. So at face value, I thought that all of them would be found guilty on the state level, all of them. But it says 3 of the officers, and I think it was more than 3 that beat him up. So maybe 3 got off and 1 got in trouble. I have to look into it. So Gavin, tomorrow we're going to look into this this Tyree Nichols case and see if I can find more information, because I do not know what the defense presented, right? Did they present the fact that he was being aggressive or whatever, and they were just holding him down? They had no intent to beat him up, and, you know, none of what they did resulted in his death. You know, I don't know if they presented that and they won on that merit. So I'll look it up, though. Appreciate you, Gavin. Every party has a Bob. It says exactly, if you cry over someone misgendering you, are you really going to be strong enough to keep yours or yourself and your brother safe? 100%. Like, they care about misgendering. All the Al-Qaeda have to do is misgender you on the battlefield, and they're gonna lose their mind. I love Scott Jennings making these guys look stupid every day, but they are just ignorant and can't learn. 100%. But for the people who can learn, they're watching it. The cackling hens quoting Officer Tatum. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Love you. Thank y'all for supporting that young man. Make sure you go to ShynergyLife.com to get you some Synergy. And you can't see it because it's a green screen. I probably should make a commercial about this. But we got Synergy available and ready. It's a natural energy drink, 75 milligrams of caffeine, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial coloring, no artificial none of that crap. It's all clean, all natural, and it works. Everybody loves the taste. The night drink is also coupled with the day drink, so you can get a good quality night's sleep, wake up with energy to go on and live the best version of yourself. And the name Synergy came from a very intentional point or an intentional place. And I'll talk to you guys about that a little later. Some of you guys know what the Shin represents. But for the rest of you guys, one of these days, I'm going to go and describe exactly why I chose to name the product Synergy. I love you. I see y'all the next one. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of